let's begin with um, another subtopic under the topic of research informing second language reading. So now we'll see the implications of reading instruction from reading research. So what the evidence says about uh, teaching reading, how well our notions, our personal opinion regarding reading are challenged or seen by evidence-based research. So reading has, of course, different purposes, as we have already discussed. Like reading should be seen as from broader perspective, which is the literacy perspective. So reading for academic purposes, reading for job purposes, reading for work purposes. So of course reading has different purposes. So in order to fulfill these purposes, it's important for a language teacher to understand the cognitive processes taking place in the minds of the second language reading. What processes and knowledge resources readers make the use of while understanding the text. So for example, if you are reading any manual of a washing machine, so you might need to read each and every detail in order to how to disassemble, unpack the washing machine, how to use its plug, how to switch on and switch off, and so that similarly, if you are reading the newspaper, you just look at the headline. You may not be interested after reading the headline. You may not be interested in the whole story. You just skim and scan. So of course the nature of reading is such a complex thing, so it has a lot of implications. So what research says is that readers are not simple beings. They are not passive beings. Rather, they are involved in inferring phonological or morphological or syntactic or semantic processing, discourse processing, like how words create sounds, how words are formed, the morphological syntax, how different sentences which are acceptable are formed, how discourse cohesion and coherence or logical sequencing. So these things are required to become fluent reader. So it's the job of English language teacher to help develop phonological, morphological, syntactic, and discourse awareness amongst readers, amongst students. So as we have discussed, as I said before, that the nature of reading is such a complex thing, and in this regard, it's important to train students how to recognize words and how to lay emphasis on vocabulary learning, because vocabulary rich environment is important for developing fluency and speed in second language reading. It's important for a second language teacher to decorate well the classroom, the walls of the classroom, and bring in materials which are inspiring for the students. And secondly, for a language teacher, it's important not just to make the students immerse in the text, rather to activate their background knowledge. To what extent they already know about the existing text. So it's important for the language teacher to ensure that students' language knowledge and general comprehension skills are triggered before they are made to read a particular text. So teaching text structure is not easy and straightforward, because it may require certain corpus of vocabulary or certain understanding of the language. So what's important is to promote strategic reading, how what if some of the words are difficult? What if some of the sentences are not understandable? So how to carry on decoding the main message of the text? So this is the job of the language teachers. The research says if we want to make our students fluent reader, we need to develop their vocabulary, their understanding, and we need to promote a sense of extensive reading, the reading which is done without the help of the teachers, which is done outside the classroom, because the research suggests that extensive reading is much more helpful in terms of developing students' vocabulary, their language awareness, their phonemic awareness, their phonological awareness, and it naturally leads them to do well in the area of writing. So what's important is that the teacher needs to develop intrinsic motivation, the motivation, how well the students are internally motivated. Of course, there are some external pressures. There could be pressure, exam pressure, which is an external factor. But to what extent they are intrinsically motivated largely depends upon the choice of materials, the choice of curriculum presented to the students. So there are a lot of implications for reading, which we have seen in this module, and we'll continue to see these implications and their usefulness for better understanding the notion of second language reading.